INTPs. This is Leon, and I was going to talk to you about how you not only express SI, FE, NTE, but also SE and FI. However, I realized that this will get really long, so I'm going to save that for part 3. I want to begin by actually talking about how you all express TE, because I forgot to mention that TE is a function that you could turn on and off at your own will. When you need to engage TE, you can, and you can get all business-like, but it'll deplete you of energy. And it is also a way to deal with stress. So when you are dealing with conflict with someone, you may resort to work to keep your mind away from the conflicting person. So in the MBTI, it's understood that FE expresses itself under stress, but actually also in socionics, TE expresses itself. Now on to SI. So SI is a natural complement to NE. Both functions are similar in that they both are trying to cover all ground in ensuring things. So in a way, they're like the same function, but covering different dimensions. For NE, that would be ensuring that you cover every objective possibility. For SI, it would be ensuring stability and covering details. And SI helps NE in ensuring that the possibilities are covered. And NE also helps SI too, because it's like, ooh, did you see that little detail over there, SI? That one over there and there? So SI and NE synthesize together as a team, sometimes blending to the extent in which you can't tell which is which. They're two sides of the same coin, with the extrovert function being broader and vaguer, and the introvert function being more concentrated and specific and focused. So both ensures and covers as much as possible. SI manifests in your seeking of comforting and relaxing atmospheres. You may desire that your life has homeostasis. Your absent-mindedness makes it difficult for you to maintain homeostasis that ensures the stability in your environment, and this could be a source of frustration. So this could cause anxiety as well as, SI could actually be a source of recreation too. However, too much SI expressed by others can be off-putting or seen as overkill. However, a lot of NE types have a negative view towards SI types, and this comes from the fact that NE types actually express SI rather negatively a lot. So NE types may revisit past mistakes and bad memories over and over, or have this kind of sad kind of nostalgia, and then mistake this tendency as the primary tendency of SI types when it is not. They may project their burden over their O negative SI onto SI types. SI types may have bad memories, but often their SI is a recollection of positive memories and happy nostalgia. And, NE types have that as well. Just that, there's a different kind of balance. Like there's more of that kind of a negative expression too. SI types have a more mature view of SI. So INTPs actually could be incredibly powerful in SI. They will scrupulously cover every detail and every possibility for the sake of ensuring logical consistency. And it could go on superdrive. So this is why I hesitate to call SI and FE weak functions of the INTP. Weak is too blanket a term to address the nature of the tertiary and inferior functions. They both are strong under 3 different conditions. 1, when SI is focused on TI systems that an INTP likes, then the INTPs actually use SI in this regards more powerfully than any other type, SI types included. Number 2, the ISFJ and ISTJ will have a more mature attitude of SI, but when INTPs have SI as a child function, you can't dismiss this as a weakness. We all heard the expression that there's a benefit to having a childlike spirit and not to lose the child within. So SI manifests in INTPs with coming up with playful and clever ways to create pleasurable environments, and they kind of have like that kind of that fresher, childlike view towards SI and the kind of environments it supplies. So, and this perspective rivals that of SI types. It's just a different kind of perspective, but it has its own strong points to it. So number three, past a certain level of threshold activation, FE may actually be quite powerful in the INTP. So it comes out like the Hulk. And brain scans by Dario Nardi shows that INTPs do not get embarrassed easily, but once a certain threshold of embarrassingness happens, they blush all over, even more so than an ENFJ. So how is FE strong in INTPs? Let me first explain FE is the doorway to the unconscious of INTPs. So INTPs are relatively conscious of TI, then NE, then SI, and then FE is kind of in between in conscious awareness. And the functions after FE, such as TE, NI, SE, are more unconscious. So consciousness is how we know we present ourselves. So INTPs definitely know that they're TI, NE, and to an extent they know they're SI. They're even less aware of how their FE activates, but they do have an awareness. So complexly developed FE in ESFJs and ENFJs has an advantage, but INTPs may have a fresher childlike perspective, as I said. So FE gives INTPs a need to become sophisticated, and which is why they learn so much. Their expression of FE can be simple and yet refreshing. So they could show an uncomplicated camaraderie and fellowship with no strings attached. FE and inferior, however, could also have a darker side. So this can manifest in some INTPs overreacting to others' minor etiquette transgressions or becoming snobbish about their sophistication. They may dislike people who cannot create a positive environment when actually this is an issue in themselves. So FE could even become like how it's expressed in unhealthy FJ types. It could turn into manipulation. So the closer you get with someone, the more you see the other side of them. So you will see the SI and FE aspects of the INTP that's not transparent on the surface. You see behind the TI and NE, SI and FE needs. In fact, you'll find that SI and FE are even more powerful than you imagine in INTPs. So firsthand experience, I see the paradoxical phenomenon in that a number of ISTPs and INTPs may secretly be the most caring and harmonizing people on Earth. But I don't like oversimplification. So I'm not saying INTPs are really the most caring people. Your outer personality and your inner personality play equal parts. On the outside, some INTPs may appear apathetic, but the more you get inside, they're more caring than they come across. It just flavors their personality. But this does not mean they're ultimately the most caring people. I'm just saying that a healthy INTP may be surprisingly caring despite how they look from the outside, and they would do more FE, even more than FJ types in a certain way of looking at it. So on the other hand, some FE types may appear caring because that's their outer personality, but then on the inside they would be rather cold and uncaring, and the FE expressions are actually could be a facade for their TI calculations to manipulate others. However, I'm only talking about FE types that have gone awry. So, um, or the potential darker path of FE types. So it's also just as likely that their outer expressions of FE are authentically in tune with the inner caring. So I guess for INTPs, it's about bringing the FE out, and then for FE types, it's about bringing the FE in. And the final thing I want to say is that FE and TI go hand in hand. And in some ways, it's like they melt together into the same function when operating together. So as Michael Pierce says, they are harmonizing. When I observe INTPs, after you give them a abstract concept to think about, it is like a matrix, scene from the movie Matrix, where you could see the Neo trying to figure out how to operate the helicopter, right? And it's like a flash of insight, and he's going like this, and and INTPs almost have a similar look when you give them a puzzle. It's like you could see all these like thousands of puzzle pieces just coming together like this, and so I mentioned before, TI is not this straightforward A equals B, B equals C, so A equals C. It's actually got understanding of like thousands of puzzle pieces fitting together at once, kind of seeing how they harmonize together. So FE is actually the same way in that it's a gut understanding of harmony, but it's kind of at a broader holistic level. And TI is harmonizing at a precise focus level, at the level of seeing the actual puzzle pieces kind of the edges fitting together. So FE comes out strongly in the INTP in almost like a mystical harmony of seeing all the puzzle pieces fit. So it's often misunderstood that feeling functions merely have to do with people. FE is about atmospheres and how they are harmonious, or objects and how they're harmonious. So I noticed that many INTPs pay attention to the harmony of objects in paintings and the parts of music fitting together. So this comes from a mixture of TI and FE harmonizing work and these functions working together. So I noticed that ISTPs and INTPs, they focus on this harmonizing aspect more than I do as an INFP. I may kind of go against the harmonizing a bit. So the big question is that some things like paintings, they fall, and watching how it harmonizes, it falls between a level of FE and TI. The interesting question I kind of want to ask you is, where do you draw the line between the holistic and the specific, the FE and the TI? Do you see these two functions really becoming one at a certain level, at this in-between level? What do you think? And I just want to show you. I'm working on a painting right now. It's not done, but it's just aliens on a moon of a planet just chillaxing.